Do you want to share any final thoughts with my audience before we say goodbye?
No, tell them.
She gives him another chance. This is so.
Yeah.
Stop.
She's too
already.
nice. She's too nice.
Yeah. Come on our show and be nice to us. CT is already trying to hook it up. CT's like, I'm on this. Deborah's coming on.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Lauren Southern did respond to me, so it looks like Lauren Southern is actually going to come on.
Good.
Sitch is Sitch has reached out to Lance to ask him to help us craft a couple of questions to ask her.
What?
I'm kidding, obviously. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
We are going to ask her about how that Lance thing. We are going to laugh about that Lance thing together.
That was a fun conversation.
I think that might be our most popular episode, to be honest with you.
Maybe.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
To cap off that point, I guess I just want to say that like where we invest our energy is very important. And as any person interested in sort of scientific and rational consistency, would adhere to, you need to follow where the data goes. And
this is such scummy bullshit too.
I know, it's so condescending.
Not only that, Vaush only invests his energy in what's, going to get him some clicks. So
yeah,
I just think it's completely disingenuous. Like we often do shows that are just interesting to us, and we, feel like
no one's going to care about this.
Yeah, no one's going to care about this. Exactly. Right. We do that a lot. Vaush is never going to do that. Vaush is completely being driven by the culture war. So to step back and say, listen, it's really important, what we focus on here is fucking insanely dishonest.
Why are we not focusing on the crumbling bridges? Like, I don't know. Why are you not focusing on that?
Insanely dishonest. This whole conversation came together because he could call someone who was on Joe Rogan a Nazi.
Yes.
A fucking transphobe. That's why this whole conversation came together. He made a video targeting this person that got 300,000 views. We'll read some comments on that video on Tuesday. I'm sure they're all very civil, very nice, very, very civil comments towards Deborah Soh.
I bet.
Right now, the data of there being some grooming epidemic in schools. Well, hold on, that's actually a problem, but it has nothing to do with woke anything. That's just a problem with teachers. The two big places where child grooming happens is in the home and in the church. But where Republicans want to focus on the school, and coincidentally, only on the.
Do you think it's happening in the school at all? Would you acknowledge it's happening at all?
Of course, but actually child sexual predation has been going down over time as wokeness levels rise. I just don't think there's a correlation. I don't think that I'd
need to see that study.
In terms of sexual predation over time. Oh yeah, it used to be way more common than it is now.
With wokeness? Well, I couldn't tell if you were being facetious.
I just mean that
he just made up a bunch of bullshit. He just pulled that out of his behind.
She's like, are you being serious? I can't tell.
Did he where is the study on this? I haven't read an article on child predation going down with wokeness. Have you?
Yeah. No, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Who published this study? Was this on the Huffington Post or something?
He probably just means that as wokeness has increased in the recent years, child predation has decreased. So he's making the classic causation correlation.
I'm not even sure that you can make that. I'm not even sure that you can make that assessment. Where are the studies on child predation?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seems like a tough thing to study. I bet there's a lot we don't catch, which is super disheartening.
Civism, we've only gotten more progressive with time on social issues here in the States, but the amount of child predation that's been reported has been going down ever since we started tracking stuff like that. And I think the mid 20th century,
now we're going back to
child abuse.
I mean,
down and down and down.
Now we're going back to the 1950s
because our society is more into.
What the fuck? This is all just bullshit. I mean, does he watch? Have you watched that show To Catch a Predator? I mean, it seems like the internet has opened up an avenue for child predation to just skyrocket. And we're probably not catching much of that.
I like that immediately. He's like, well, I mean, if we're starting from the 1950s, it's like, okay.
She called him out. She's like, let's see the study. He's like, oh, well, I don't have a study, but let me fucking talk long enough to make you think I know what I'm talking about. This is so patently, obviously insane.
Integrated with the internet, people have easier access to info that can let them know if it
Yes, with the internet, they have easier access to the child predators have easier access to prey.
Right.
This is moronic. This is moronic.
abuse is taking place. Stuff like Me Too. It sounds silly, but it does actually get.
Me Too is not about child predation, you fucking moron.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
He's in, oh my God, she asked me for evidence and now I don't have any, so let me talk.
Mhm.
She completely, she pantsed him right in front of everyone. And now he's running around going, oh my God, I'm naked.
Get people sort of invested in the mindset that they should report if abuse is happening.
Vaush is very good at confabulation. You know what confabulation is?
Yes, you're right. That's his number one strategy, basically.
He just makes up a bunch of shit and just starts spouting it off. He just threw out 25 different arguments, completely incoherent.
They have nothing to do with each other.
All because she asked him for a study.
Right.
She asked him for evidence.
Not even a study, just like, what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. I hope he doesn't pull out the anecdote about how his friends told him they stopped grooming kids or something. Fucking, how do you know that's going down? Well, a lot of my colleagues. Fuck.
And that's good. The less child abuse is happening, the better, you know? But I strongly disagree with this cynical weaponization of the term grooming. Grooming is a
this is so good.
That's cynical.
This is so good. This is so good. Because this is the thing that everyone comes at Vaush with, and it completely gets under his skin, too. And now, the thing that he's been targeted with has been codified into a political strategy.
Oh, the pedo stuff?
Yes,
stuff?
that's exactly what the grooming stuff is.
Yep, that's true.
You know he's got to get okay groomer. Like, that's the message that he gets a million times a day now. Okay, groomer. Demoralizing. Not only that, it is a much better weapon than the Nazi thing. So keep calling people Nazis, Vaush. Keep it up.
Serious thing to do, and it's being applied to like teachers who are doing cringy dances.
But go ahead.
She just fucking slapped him in the face. Did you catch that?
I did.
I feel like it's no different than Nazi, but you go ahead. You continue. Keep your rant going.
I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, if they were calling all these teachers Nazis, I would disagree with that too. But like, there are people being called groomer. Some teacher lost his job because he said, like, to any trans kids who were rejected by your parents, "I love you." The idea of a teacher saying,
"That's not what they said.
I love my students."
I think he said, like, "I'm your parent now," right? Isn't that the same guy?
Oh yeah. The idea.
Deborah was on the ball. Yeah.
Deborah
woke up in the last quarter of this,
it back. I take it back. She's just scored like 6 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes of the game here.
She came back hard in the last quarter. She woke up and was like, no.
Vaush is like, what's wrong with saying that? I tell my fans that all the time. What the fuck?
Yeah,
that's appropriate.
I don't think there's anything remotely inappropriate.
Do you understand?
About that.
Could you see why parents might be uncomfortable at that?
I don't
this
care.
This is one specific case. So I'm saying more broad. This is one case we're talking about, but it's, I think.
Hold on. I think he said, I don't care what the parents think.
Yeah, that is what he said. It's
the
crazy.
idea of a teacher saying, I love my students.
I think he said, like, I'm your parent now, right? Isn't that the same guy?
Oh yeah. The idea
that's appropriate.
I don't think there's anything remotely inappropriate.
Do you understand?
About that.
Could you see why parents might be uncomfortable at that?
I don't care.
This is one specific.
I don't care if they're.
Yeah, I don't care if they're.
I don't care if
he
they're.
Doesn't care.
What do you think the end of that sentence was?
Well,
I
that's
don't care if they're uncomfortable.
That's what's so gross about a lot of these. When you see these Instagram videos and TikTok videos,
they don't
of these woke teachers. They'll have this like disgusting, holier than thou attitude.
They do, yeah.
That like what they're doing. And this is why it is like a religion, that they're doing fucking God's work, that they're preaching some kind of gospel. and that the parents or anyone against them is like evil and wrong and Satan. And, and they have this egotistical, there's just a video I saw on Twitter that was like, they were basically bragging like, oh, your children are going to look to us instead of you. And they're bragging about this. And it's like, okay. And you're wondering why people are freaking out. This is what you say.
This religious indoctrination, this gender ideology, gender religion, gender cult. I mean, we were laughing about this shit 3 years ago.
I know.
They've gone fully insane over this.
Yeah.
It went from.
But listen, I'm glad it's all out in the open now, though.
Oh, hell yeah. It went from we're making videos on YouTube till we're nefariously, secretly educating your children in public schools.
Yes.
I fire them, throw them in jail. Like, what the fuck? Incarcerate their asses. I'm serious. That is going to be the backlash.
Yep.
It's going to be, listen, we heard you were teaching gender ideology. That's a class 4 felony. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to arrest you. Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Specific case. So I'm saying more broad. This is one case we're talking about, but I think is indicative of something larger that's happening.
The comfort of the parents is not a determining factor in the validity of an educational protocol.
It is when it's a fucking religion, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The evidence is not on your side. Yep. All you have is flim flam.
Yep.
This is so ridiculous. He's not even willing to admit that the evidence is specious. He's got fucking 200 people in these studies. That's
Adam,
not a
I don't even know
fucking
what
study.
Specious means, okay? Isn't that what you poop? That's what you poop out of?
When they were doing... This is not how science works. This is scientific illiteracy here. And I blame the fact that someone who has a college degree can be this scientifically illiterate is repugnant. Completely repugnant. Do you disagree?
No, well, it's all in service is the issue.
Right.
Because I mean, it's like, when it comes to some study, when it comes to some study he wants to debunk, he'll be like, oh, let me.
Now I know the science. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a statistical
100%.
genius.
Right. And then when it comes to some study that, he supports, suddenly all that goes out the window.
Right.
And he just looks at it like, blindly.
Right. This is great. The evidence is on my side.
Yep.
It's all hubris, though.
Of course. Of course.
This is the problem. This is how peer review is kind of fallen apart, because peer review is all just an ideological echo chamber. Peer review should be the people reviewing this stuff should be the people who don't believe it, because they're the ones that are going to go through and actually pick this shit apart.
Right.
Not rubber stamp it.
That's true.
If we defer to that, then we'd have Christian fundamentalists suing every school district in America every time evolution is brought up. I mean, we've been down this road, right? Parents have a right to determine the education of their children when they're at home. When they're at a public school, it is up to the institution of the public school. And I think that's a fair and fine thing.
That's not what no, you fucking dumb. What a moron. Does he not know how public education works?
No, he doesn't know any of this shit.
Wait, it's not
he's not educated on it either.
It's not up to the school.
Yes.
It's up to the voters.
It's up to the voters. It's up to the parents. That's why. This is why I brought up the Nick Rekieta thing, because
what
how you educate your kids is your you have the right to educate your kids however you see fit. That right is being granted to the state as long as the state is doing what is acceptable to the parent.
He doesn't understand the difference between the institution that is a public school and the voters. The voters are the ones that determine this shit.
Right, yes.
What does he not know how democracy works?
For all the talk of democracy and wanting democracy in the workplace, no, he doesn't know how democracy works.
A school can't just decide on its own what the fuck to do. Why do you think there's like a million of these criterias that the the local state, the local district, and then the state school board has to pass, and it all goes through like a million fucking different people
Why
before
do
it
you
gets
think there are
pushed down on the
public school board meetings once a month where people can like go in and talk to people?
I know, this is
Yeah.
so ridiculous. The school can do whatever the fuck they want. What are you talking about?
It's insane. It's totally insane. Yeah.
Oh my god.
They take your tax money and they can do whatever they want. Like,
Yeah, that's how government works, apparently.
fuck you. Yeah. This is why I'm like, the stupidity is off the charts here.
Jesus.